الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. We praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for this gathering. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, that Allah ta'ala allowed us to meet with these beautiful faces, alhamdulillah, to learn our deen. And the last thing that we talked about is the jilsa of al-istiraha, the sitting that the Prophet ﷺ did before getting up to the next rak'ah, which starts our fourth segment, the second rak'ah. كان صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم يقوم إلى الركعة الثانية بعد أن يجلس جلسة الاستراحة. He would get up for the second rak'ah after he will sit for a brief moment until everything gets in his place and he has طمأنينة, serenity, then he will get up. And قال الشيخ رحمه الله تعالى في رواية البخاري وأبي داود: يستوي قاعدا على رجله اليسرى معتدلا حتى يرجع كل عظم إلى موضعه. So he will sit until every joint goes to place, then he will get up. And this is number 2 in this segment, using his hands, if you see in your schedule, using his hands to get up to the second rak'ah. الاعتماد على اليدين في النهوض إلى الركعة الثانية. رواية الإمام الشافعي وعند البخاري قال الشيخ الألباني رحمه الله تعالى: ثم كان صلى الله عليه وسلم ينهض معتمدا على الأرض إلى الركعة الثانية. He will push on the ground to get up to the second rak'ah. وكان يعجن في الصلاة. جميلة هذه. كان يعجن في الصلاة. What is العجن? It's when you're baking. When you're baking bread, you're making bread, you're doing like this, يعجن. So subhanAllah, look at this precise description. كان يعجن في الصلاة, meaning that he would push on the ground like he was pushing the bread. When you're making the bread and you're pushing it, either with the hands flat or with pushing with your fist. And this is you'll find that there's a difference of opinion. Did he get up pushing on his flat hands, or did he get up pushing on his fist? And the scholars tell you that he did both, but the one that is most authentic based on the proofs that I've seen is that he would push with his fist. This is the ajn. You get more force when you try to push the bread that way, al-ajn. So this is what the Prophet ﷺ was doing. Another narration of Muslim وابن عوانة: كان صلى الله عليه وسلم إذا نهض في الركعة الثانية استفتح بالحمد لله ولم يسكت. He will get up to the second rak'ah, push with his hand, say Allahu Akbar, and then he will start immediately saying Al-Fatiha. ويصنع في هذه الركعة مثل ما يصنع في الأولى. And he will do in this rak'ah like he does in the first one. ويجعله أقصر من الركعة التي قبلها. And he will make it shorter than the one that was before it. And of course, we know that now that we've established. Assalamu alaikum, brother, nice to see you, mashallah. This is a nice surprise. We've established that, subhanallah, that Al-Fatiha should be read in every rak'ah, because it is a rukn, it is a pillar of the salah. And if you miss it, subhanallah, like I said, either you make up for it if you didn't already move to the second rak'ah. But if you, by the way, if you did not do Al-Fatiha and you remembered in the second rak'ah, then subhanallah, that makes the first rak'ah null and void, and that one is considered your first rak'ah. Let's say, for example, and this is something that I was going to get to at the end, but I'm really seeing that subhanallah, we will not have time to finish everything, all the material, until by the time the Maghrib gets here. So I'm telling you right now, if you miss a rukn, and I will go through what are the arkan, the pillars of the salah. If you miss a rukn, for example, and I was giving this example earlier to somebody else in private, that subhanallah, let's say you are in the process of memorizing a surah. She knows, right? She knows. Okay. You're in the process of memorizing a surah, Like for example, in Ramadan, we will have a contest where people memorize Surah Maryam. So here, the cat is out of the bag. Start working on Surah Maryam if you want to get some prizes at the end of Ramadan. So the person is working on Surah Maryam, and he's so eager to practice the surah in the salah. So he comes and he says Allahu Akbar, and instead of saying Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, he says Kaf, Ha, Ya, Ayn, Sad, and he starts Maryam. Then he does his ruku' and his sujood. He's in the sujood. Then he remembers, oops, I did not say Al-Fatiha. What should he do? Zakaria, what do you think? Say Fatiha where? In the elevator, upstairs, down, where? He should get up immediately and say Al-Fatiha. Then do the rak'ah and the sajda. But if he has already moved on to the second rak'ah, what should he do? Continue normal, get up for the second rak'ah, but that second rak'ah becomes the first rak'ah because the first one is null and void. Gone. Clear? Now, if he remembers after the tashahhud, if he remembers, say it again? Say it again. Okay. Which part? It's my wife giving me a hard time. In the house and here, everywhere. I'm just kidding. So, basically, you missed a rukn, a pillar of the salah, okay? And you remembered while you are still in the same rak'ah. Then subhanAllah, you have to stop what you're doing and get up and do that rukn. Go back to that rukn that you missed and do it. Then continue your salah, and then at the end you do the sujood of sahu, of heedlessness, okay? But if you already moved on to the second rak'ah, then you continue the same way, but you start considering the second rak'ah your first, because your first one became null and void, because you missed a rukn, a pillar in it. Then at the end you do the sujood of sahu, of heedlessness. Now if you remember this after you said Salaam alaikum already, what do? You get up and you do another rak'ah all over again. You do another rak'ah and then you do the taslim after the rak'ah. But the question here is, when you miss a rukn and you get up and make up for it, and you do the two sajdat of sahu, of heedlessness, when do you do them? Before taslim or after taslim? Yalla. Who can tell me? Before? What is the rule in that? What is the rule? If you diminish, take away from your salah, you do before. If you add to your salah, you do after. Right? In the case of having missed something in the rak'ah, you have to do another one because that one is not involved. So you add it to your salah. In this case, you do after the taslim. Salaam alaikum, sujood, sajda, sajda. Then you come back, sajda, and you come back and sit. That's it. You don't do another tashahhud or anything like that. Okay? So, subhanAllah, if you remember after half an hour, what do you do? You pray one more rak'ah, what do you do? What you do is you say bye-bye to that salah, because it's gone, it's null and void, and you have to redo it. Okay? So it's clear here? Alhamdulillah. So, Qira'at al-Fatiha, going back to that, you have to read al-Fatiha in every salah. Which brings us to point number 3, and we're going faster here because we established all the fundamental things in the first rak'ah. We're going to go faster here. The first tashahhud, جلسة التشهد. قال رحمه الله تعالى: ثم كان صلى الله عليه وسلم يجلس للتشهد بعد الفراغ من الركعة الثانية، فإذا كانت الصلاة ركعتين كالصبح جلس مفترشا. He will sit for tashahhud after the second rak'ah, but if the salah is only 2 rak'ahs, he will sit muftarisha, he will sit in a way that after which he's going to finish his salah. ثم قال، وهذه رواية البخاري وعند أبي داود، كما كان يجلس بين السجدتين وكذلك يجلس في التشهد الأول. Just like when he will sit between the two sajdat, he will sit the same way in the tashahhud. He will do the same in the salah of 3 and the salah of 4 rak'ah. وأمر بذلك المسيء صلاته. قال صلى الله عليه وسلم: فإذا جلست في وسط الصلاة فاطمئن وافترش فخذك اليسرى ثم تشهد. And if you sit after in the second rak'ah, after the second sujood, you sit on your left leg, like we saw first, and do the tashahhud. And then, subhanallah, when you sit like that, you don't do the iq'a, like I told you. Then you have both your legs out. One of them the left should be in, and the right should be out. وقال صلى الله عليه وسلم كان ينهى صلى الله عليه وسلم عن عقبة الشيطان. هذه الإقعاء سماه صلى الله عليه وسلم عقبة الشيطان, the back side of the shaitan. ثم قال رحمه الله تعالى: كان إذا قعد في التشهد وضع كفه اليمنى على فخذه. When he sits for tashahhud, now picture this, he puts his right hand on his leg, فخذ. وفي رواية ركبته, in another narration, ركبة. So basically it's both. Part of the hand is on this muscle here of the leg, and a part of it is on the knee. وضع كفه اليسرى على فخذه. وفي رواية ركبته اليسرى باسطا عليها. So he will put, and this is in the middle tashahhud, he will put his hand, like part of it, the middle of the hand is on the leg, but the fingers are on the knee, but straight. He will have it straight like that. ثم قال: وكان صلى الله عليه وسلم يضع حد مرفقيه الأيمن على فخذه اليمنى. He will put the score on the edge of his elbow on his leg. And something that I just remembered, subhanallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us always to remember to say La ilaha illallah. I forgot to tell you when he did sujood, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that he separated his hands so much that the Sahaba said we just felt bad for him, that he almost looked in pain. So the Prophet ﷺ, when he did his sujood, he did not do it like this, like some people do, but he separated as much as possible. In a narration said that there was so much separation that an animal of a small size could pass through his hand. That's how much he separated them. So basically what I'm telling you, if you're imam of yourself or you're leading some people in prayer, use as much space as you can. Open your hands as much as you possibly can. And then separate. Make sure that your elbows are clear of the floor. Make sure that your elbows, some people even they clear their elbows but they'll have it like this. No. You should exaggerate in separating. That's what the Prophet ﷺ did. Subhanallah, that, like I said, so much so that about the width. The same for the women. Everything that I'm saying right now is the same for women. If I get to a point where there's something different for women, I will say, but it's identical for men and women. And it's good that you mentioned that. Maybe I won't be able to get to it at the end. Subhanallah, the ulama spoke extensively about there are certain cultures that say that the woman, when she's making sujood, she has to do it in a different way so that she doesn't show her features or her curves. Nothing could be farther from the truth. The woman should do in her sujood exactly the same way that the man does. The narration said that Darda radiyallahu anha, she said that she used to do sujood and she will sit from the sujood just like a man does. وَكَانَتْ فَقِيهًا, and she was one of the scholars from the women of the Sahaba. So everything the same, it's the same way. Everything applies that applies to men in Salah will apply to women, except for the attire, of course, the way that they should be dressed. That's where the separation is. So the Prophet ﷺ, like I said, in the sujood, he will make a separation between his hands, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So going back to where we were, kana sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he will put the corners of the sharp area of his elbows on his legs. And there was a man that was sitting, maybe he couldn't sit straight, and he was helping, kind of pushing with his hand. He said not to do that. No, don't use your hand and push, but subhanAllah, keep them like that on top of your legs. And he said, قال صلى الله عليه وسلم, لا تجلس هكذا إنما هذه جلسة الذين يعذبون. Don't sit like that. This is the way that the people that are being punished do sit. Which brings us to another one where you'll find a lot of difference of opinion, and that's number one. Did the Prophet ﷺ move his fingers in the tashahhud or not? قال الشيخ رحمه الله في رواية مسلم وأبي عوانة كان صلى الله عليه وسلم يبسط كفه اليسرى على ركبته اليسرى ويقبض أصابع كفه اليمنى كلها ويشير بأصبعه حتى تلي الإبهام إلى القبلة ويرمي ببصره إليها. يا الله. Clear indication, subhanAllah. The Prophet ﷺ would put his left hand on his left leg and part of his knee, and he will put his right hand on his knee and his leg, and he will close it like that, and then he will point towards the Qibla with his index. He will point to the Qibla with his index, subhanAllah. يشير إلى القبلة. وفي رواية يشير يدعو بها. He will supplicate with it, subhanAllah. And many narrations come to mind, like for example Imam Ahmad al-Bazzar قال صلى الله عليه وسلم لهي أشد على الشيطان من الحديد. لهي أشد على الشيطان من الحديد. That this movement of the finger when you point in, because Sheikh al-Albani, when he's teaching his students, made it clear that you should point and you should make it shake the whole time. He said this is something that is so painful to the shaitan, more painful than if he was being struck by iron, subhanAllah. And it reminds me of this brother I saw, and he was not doing that. So I told him, brother, you should do it that way. He was new to Islam. He said, no. He was interrupting me. He wouldn't even hear it. He said, no, I heard this book that I used to read in this book that is so painful to the shaitan. But what was he doing? He will do, like a lot of the brothers do, they will just hold it together, and when they say, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, they will point for a second and then go back. And I said, well, you're not doing it. You're not hurting the shaitan. You're being the friend of the shaitan right now. Hurt the shaitan. The Prophet ﷺ told you if you want to hurt the shaitan, he'd give him pain, then you point with your finger and you shake the whole time from beginning to end. From at-tahiyyat, you say tahiyyat, all the way to the end. In the middle, and in the end of the last tashahhud, subhanAllah. And countless narrations that support this. كان صلى الله عليه وسلم هذه سبحان الله عند ابن أبي شيبة بسند حسن كان أصحاب النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يأخذ بعضهم على بعض يعني الإشارة بالإصبع في الدعاء. كان سبحان الله the companions of the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم, they will keep each other honest. If one sees one that he's not pointing and shaking while he's doing the tashahhud, he will tell him, no, this is not the way of the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم, you should do it that way. And you will do this in all of his tashahhud, subhanallah. ابن أبي شيبة والنسائي وصححه الحاكم ووافقه الذهبي. وكان صلى الله عليه وسلم يفعل ذلك في تشهده كله. ورأى رجلا يدعو بإصبعيه فقال, and saw someone doing it with two fingers. So he said, صلى الله عليه وسلم, أحد وأشار بالسبابة. أحد make it. He said make it one, and he pointed to his sababa. Incidentally, someone told me, well, you know what, I'll tell you guys in private this one. Someone told me about this particular one. I told some of you, subhanAllah, may Allah guide the believers of this ummah. But remind me about, there's a story that associated with this, I will tell you guys later. I don't want it to be recorded. So, subhanAllah. So he would point with his finger, and he would move his finger to hurt the shaitan. Which brings us to number 5. The obligation of the first tashahhud and the permissibility of the dua in it. In the first tashahhud is compulsory, and you can make dua in it as well. قال رحمه الله تعالى كان صلى الله عليه وسلم يقرأ في كل ركعتين التحية. He will say the tahiyya, the tashahhud, in every 2 rak'ahs. وكان أول ما يتكلم به عند القعدة التحيات لله. The first thing that he would say as soon as he sits and starts tashahhud, he will say التحيات لله. And he says that in many narrations, but inshallah ta'ala, to save time, will get us in number 6, the different ways that he did the tashahhud. صيغ التشهد, that's number 6. قال وعلمهم صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم أنواعا من صيغ التشهد. He would teach them different ways of doing the tashahhud. And I will spend some time on this one. تشهد ابن مسعود. Ibn Mas'ud has a narration. قال علمني رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم التشهد وكفي بين كفيه كما يعلمني السورة من القرآن. Wallahi, let me stop here and say, Ya Allah, how lucky is Ibn Mas'ud? How lucky. He said, the Prophet ﷺ taught me the tashahhud while my hand is in between his hands. He's holding my hand with both his hands. Imagine, can you imagine that? The Prophet ﷺ holds your hand. Ya Allah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make you and I from the people of Al-Jannah, so that we can hold the hand of the Prophet ﷺ. He said, my hand between both his hands. And he said, and he would teach me the tashahhud just like he would teach me the surah from the Quran. فقال التحيات لله والصلوات والطيبات. التحيات لله والصلوات والطيبات. And all these narrations, brothers, inshallah, I can give to anyone who wants. I will email it to you or text it to you, inshallah. Just come forward, inshallah, just like some brothers did. التحيات لله والصلوات والطيبات. It will take too much time for us to translate what it means. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. Greeting to you, O Messenger of Allah, and the mercy of Allah and His barakat and His blessings. Tahiyyat is greeting to, and the prayers and all of the pure things belong to Allah. Then you say, Assalamu alayna wa ala ibadillahi salihin. And that greeting, Assalam, is on us and all the righteous servants of Allah. قال فإنه إذا قال ذلك أصاب كل عبد صالح في السماء والأرض. Ya Allah. You know that when you say Salam, you get 30 hasanat, right? 30 hasanat for Assalamu alaykum. Imagine when you do the tashahhud, you say Assalamu alayna, Salam is on us, and all of the righteous servants of Allah. When you say that applies to every servant of Allah in the heavens or the earth. Let's say there are 1.5 billion servants of Allah that are Muslims on the earth. They all get the salam. 30, count, 30. And then every angel of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The Prophet ﷺ, when he was in the night of the ascension, Al-Mi'raj, he said, وَرَأَيْتُ الْبَيْتَ الْمَعْمُورِ. He saw Al-Bayt al-Ma'mur, the most frequented house, with Ibrahim alayhi salam with his back to it, just like someone would sit with his back to the Kaaba, right? And وَرَأَيْتُ 70,000 من الملائكة يطوفون لا يعودون إلى يوم القيامة. And I saw 70,000 angels doing the circumambulation, the tawaf around it. They will not return until the day of reckoning. Now imagine, from the day that Allah Ta'ala created this earth, or the heavens and the earth, every single day He has a group of 70,000 angels that come and they go do tawaf around this house that is in the heavens, and they never return until the day of judgment. Every single day. How many angels does Allah have? Let's just count. Who's good at math? Who's really good at math? Can calculate it very quickly. Who? Raise your hand. Somebody. Oh, you got an iPhone. Congratulations. All right. Let's say that just out of, for the sake of argument, that the life of this world, this earth has existed, the life on earth has existed for 10,000 years. Calculate, then multiply by 365 or 360 if you want, and then multiply by 70,000. I don't think you'll have enough room in your calculator. Subhanallah. So, obviously the angels of Allah, the malaika of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are so when you say Assalamu alayna, greeting is on us, salam is on us, and all the servants of Allah, that applies to all of them. All the righteous servants in the earth, all the righteous. Just in that, imagine. And then when you got the crazy number, multiply it by 30. And when you get that crazy number again, I want you to multiply it by 10, because every hasana, Allah counts it as a minimum of 10. Do you see these crazy numbers, guys? Just from the tashahhud. So the tashahhud, and he says, Salamu alayna wa ala ibadillahi salihin. Allahumma laka alhamd. Allahumma laka alhamd. Oh Allah, we praise you and we thank you for your bounty. And by the way, I looked up when I did that. It was a reflex, but it's wrong. When you make dua, you look towards the qibla, and the qibla happens to be behind me, but you should not look up, because the Prophet ﷺ said not to. ثم يقول أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمد رسول الله وهذا هو بين ظهرانينا. When the Prophet ﷺ was with them, they will say السلام عليك أيها النبي, salam on you, O Prophet of Allah. But when the Prophet ﷺ passed away, they will say السلام على النبي. The greeting salam is on the Prophet, because he's not with them anymore. So we're supposed to say what? Because some of our ancestors that taught us to pray, right? They say Assalamu alayka ayyuhan nabi. But the Nabi is not with you, is not with us anymore. So we say Assalamu ala nabi. The greeting salam is on the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Many narrations, there's a narration of Ibn Abbas. He will say Tahiyyatul Mubarakat, As-Salawatu Tayyibatu Lillah. Then he will say this almost the same as Ibn Mas'ud radiyallahu anhu. Then there's a third narration of Ibn Umar radiyallahu anhu, said that Tahiyyatu Lillah wa Salawatu wa Tayyibat, Assalamu alayka ayyuhan nabi. Then an addition in the narration of Ibn Umar, wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And by the way, ya ikhwan, I remember growing up, my own parents, from North Africa, they adhere to the Maliki school of thought. But all of them, you'll find that they'll say in the tashahhud, when they say Allahumma salli ala Muhammad, they say Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad. Subhanallah. You should not say Sayyiduna Muhammad in the Salah. النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم سيدنا, هو سيدنا, هذا سبحان الله بدون شك, he is Sayyiduna. And Sayyiduna, if you were to translate it, it does not give you the same meaning. Our Lord, our Master, no. But Sayyiduna, when you say to someone who is really above you in status, and the Prophet ﷺ is way above us in status, you can say Sayyidina Muhammad outside in regular conversation, but do not do it in the Salah. لأن في الصلاة لا سيد مع الله. There is no master besides Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Salah. So, like I said, many narrations that come to us from the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. There's a narration of Umar ibn Khattab, there are others of Abu Musa al-Ash'ari. These are all the scholars of the Sahaba. They had some kind of variation in the narration that they learned from the Prophet ﷺ. That gives us variety in the way that we worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Also, and this is number 7, the different formats, the different ways of saying Allahumma salli ala Muhammad, the salat on the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. كان صلى الله عليه وسلم كما قال شيخ رحمه الله يصلي على نفسه في التشهد. And imagine this. The Prophet ﷺ will do salat on himself. He will say, the Prophet ﷺ himself will say, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad. He will do the salat on himself. وَقَالَ صَلُّوا كَمَا رَأَيْتُمُونِي يُصَلِّي. Pray as you have seen me pray. You heard me say, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. Say Allah. Does the Prophet say, Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad? He would not say that. He says, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. We say, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. There's another narration that I like. Most people don't use it. He said, هذه عند الإمام أحمد وعند الإمام الطحاوي رحمه الله الجميع. قال اللهم صل على محمد وعلى أهل بيته وعلى أزواجه وذريته كما صليت على إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. هذه رواية واردة. وبارك على محمد وعلى آل بيته وعلى أزواجه وذريته كما باركت على إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. That, oh Allah, do the salah on Muhammad and the members of his household and his wives and his children as you did the salah on Ibrahim, and the subhanallah, the barik, do bestow your blessings upon Muhammad and his household and his wives and his children. In this narration, subhanallah, as you did so about Muhammad, about Ibrahim, innaka hamidun majid, subhanallah. So many narrations here that again I can give you in private inshallah ta'ala if you want to do a variation in the ways that you do the tashahhud, either in the middle or at the end. This concludes our segment, and inshallah we'll start segment 5 very shortly. We will have the way that the Prophet ﷺ will get up to the 4th rak'ah, and inshallah we will have someone demonstrate at the end inshallah. So take about 15 minutes inshallah ta'ala. I will talk again in a minute. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم وجزاكم الله خيرا. Production manager, the camera guy. Did you fall asleep? Yes, and according to some scholars, you say A'udhu billahi min shaitan rajim in each one of them. You say A'udhu billahi min shaitan rajim, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Some others say no, the isti'adah that you did at the beginning was enough. You just say Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim and you start. Yeah.